grow up playing football at all. Football was relatively new to me when I first started. Just want to show my daughter that anything you want to do, you can. Like, you don't have to be pigeonholed into kind of being, you know, the girl that sits in the canteen or helps on the sidelines. You can still play, and there's a place for you. I'm all about, you know, getting everyone involved, and I think that if you can be a change in one person's life, then you've done some good. I don't very often see a mum come down to an oval or outside with their son kicking the football, and so this has really opened a gateway of conversation. Not only, you know, when we talk about equality and equity, we think women automatically, because that's what we're prone to do, but I think of it like it's given me equal playing time with my son, which I wouldn't have got. Like, he's 14, who wants to be around their mum? Or, you know, interacting with other 14-year-old boys, because I know their language and I understand their language now. So yeah, it's definitely given me a gateway to be able to speak with them. And when I come down the club, like, the boys are equally as excited to see me as the girls are. So I think that's nice, and that really shows women that there is value in understanding sport and playing sport. I think I turned up to the first training session, I had like 8 girls, and I was like, okay, we need double, but that's all right, we'll get there. And yeah, by the time we took the field, I think we had our minimum, which was 12. But even in saying that, you know, our team had grown, and that was what it really excited me, going from having no team at all to having these 12 girls who, you know, wanted to play and were eager to learn. That's when my love for coaching and my love for, you know, showing girls that you can do anything that you want to do. It didn't matter, we lost every single game, but I felt like we'd won, if that makes any sense at all, because, you know, we were showing 12 more girls football, 12 more girls fell in love with the sport, which means 12 more girls will advocate, hopefully, for our club and beyond. And then obviously COVID hit, and it was going to be our first season having a female football coordinator, and that just, I mean, took it in our stride, but it gave us a great opportunity to connect with other clubs who are in a similar position to us, and really open that dialogue where we were able to have conversations about the low numbers in girls, how we can facilitate merging or coming together to build the girls' competition. And these girls were amazing. Like, you know, they were resilient, our boys were accepting, and that again just shows how much sport can do. It doesn't matter whether you're a female or whether you're a male, it just shows that, you know, it can teach them so many more things other than just a sport. It teaches them diversity, and I think I think it's a real growing point for that age group as well. But other clubs, you know, were really accepting of our struggles at the time, and so when we couldn't fill a side, they made sure that we had enough to at least play. And in the end, it wasn't about winning or losing, it was about getting those girls interested in the sport, getting them active, and watching them just smile was just, for me, every week, just watching them go out there and try every single week was, this whole struggle has been 110% worth it. I love what I do, and I just hope that I can, you know, take it beyond our club and really help the sport grow for the girls, and just show them that, you know, you can do anything. Like, that's what I keep saying to my daughter and every other girl I come across, is anything you want to do, you can do.
I founded Community Casseroles when I was a mum of really little children, and I really wanted to be involved in my community, but I couldn't leave my kids, and so I felt isolated from being able to engage in contributing to my community. So I founded a place where people could come together and could bring kids and could bring all their baggage, whatever they needed to be, and we could form our own little community of people that would cook and share meals. So the way that Community Casseroles worked was we would cook together, freeze them, and then deliver them to people's homes, which made them a lot more accessible, so they could just fill it in online and we would turn up at the door. And we found that that was just a really amazing way of starting to connect people back into community, because it starts with a knock on the door, and then you get chatting, and then you know somebody, and then maybe they might come along and cook with us, or they just can start that human connection of being part of a broader community. We found that we were knocking on many women's doors, and the stories would start coming out. They were on their own for the first time with little kids escaping domestic violence and reaching out for whatever support there was in the community, but they'd been isolated from community for so long due to violence, and they didn't have a network, which is so hard to even start a process of healing and recovery when you don't have a network. And if you're experiencing trauma, trying to start a network is hard. So we found that there were many women who just didn't know any other women who'd experienced something like violence in their home. So we started a small group of women that could come together and made sure there was a place for the kids. So there was somebody watching the kids and playing with kids so that women could have time together, that they never get any kind of respite, where they could talk to other women and share what they've been experiencing. And we found that over time, some of the women that had been in the group longer were able to start to support and mentor women that were just freshly experiencing crisis and distress in this way. And we're able to build an even bigger community, and they really took charge. so the women are running the group, and they bring in new women through all different ways, and then they often bring them to Community Casseroles as well. So to be able to meet with other women who understand it and then can support them in accessing these services in a trauma-informed, companioned way has really made a difference. For women who are freshly experiencing crisis, it can make a really big difference to have somebody beside them to just help them call EdVos, or help them access Centrelink or some of the other services that can be really overwhelming when you can't even think straight because you're experiencing crisis and trauma. And we found that the power of connection through your community has been really transformative for creating social change.
Yeah, so last year I nominated Alice for the Knox Gender Equality Awards because she is a woman who's doing outstanding stuff in the life of our local community. I've been privileged to be working alongside her for the last few years, and she started a couple of amazing programs connecting women, particularly women who are isolated in the local community, and really supports them, champions them, gets along beside them, encourages them, builds them up, includes them in community, mentors them, supports them, and gets them involved to the point where they can feel empowered to go on and support other people. So when I heard about this award, it was just a no-brainer that we should be nominating her.
The fact that that has happened, and that it's happening so much bigger than me, they've taken it on now, and the women are coordinating that group themselves, and I'm just watching on going, yes. I feel proud that I was able to be part of that change, but I feel proud collectively that we've been able to come together as a community and create a place of safety and connection that didn't exist before. So I'm excited to be nominated because it means that we've gotten big enough that you've noticed, and lots of women are being able to access this support, and if you say it on a video out loud, more women will be able to come and join us.
So whatever we do in this gender equity space, it needs to be done with respect and needs to be done in a really balanced way. We don't want to take from other groups to make space for women and girls. We need to make sure that everyone has what they need to allow participation and to be successful. So one of the key actions that I'm most proud of in our gender equity plan is a continuation of our Little Hawkers childcare program. So in 2019, during the pre-season, we noticed that there were mums who couldn't come to training, who would bring their kids, but they'd be a bit distracted because they'd have to be watching the kids, but also trying to play footy. And so we started a program where we would have a childminder come to our training and games. So that means that the mums could have some time for themselves, some space for themselves, and know that their kids were being well cared for. We know benefits of physical activity and social connection in maintaining good mental health. So this was a way that we saw of really engaging the mums, making them feel valued and really part of the community. Our childminder is it's a paid position, and so the club has been financially supporting that position. And it was only through, learning about how to write a gender equity plan, how to involve women and give them opportunities within such a male-dominated space, that all of a sudden I thought, wow, I can see potential here. This is the way that we need to move forward. This is the way that we need to grow our club, and provide opportunities for women and girls within this, what has been a traditionally male-dominated space. I went to a session that was run by the Knox Council and the Yarra Rangers Council in conjunction, and it was about gender equity. And they introduced this concept of the gender equity plan, and that's when all of a sudden my eyes were open, mind was open to what the possibilities could be. So the gender equity plan is a list of key actions, so we can go about gender equity in a very strategic manner. So it tells us what needs to be done, how it will be done, who's going to do it, and gives some time frames within that. So in 2019 we had our inaugural Family Fun Day. So that was a way of trying to create a better connection between our junior club and our senior club. So we had amalgamated into one club, but it was looking at ways to strengthen that connection. So it was the first home game for our senior men's team. So we unfurled 3 premiership flags from the season beforehand, which was exciting. But our junior players got their jumpers presented to them. We had a whole range of activities. We had football style activities, we had a jumping castle, hair braiding, face painting, colouring in, and that was a really important point also for our senior women's team because they organised those activities. So it was like the first opportunity they had to show everyone at the club, we're here, we can add value, look at this amazing family friendly fun atmosphere that we've helped to create. And so it was also a really good way to let families know that they're valued, that they have a space in our community and that they're very welcome. So I'm really proud to be part of this club and just so appreciative of the support that I've been given in my role of Director in Community Inclusion. So my hope is to leave a legacy of inclusion that will just continue to grow and grow into the future.